Interesting how that's a power switch. They should have the power symbol on it, not just the lock. So this time I'm riding the base. Pegs all the way forward. And I'm going to do it in touring and urban mode to compare and contrast. Oh, somebody left it in.
So you're on a standard here, and
yep.
Did you want to be in touring, or do you want to try sport?
I'm going to start out in touring and then switch to urban.
Sounds good. You got
cool.
Your high beams here. I know that's kind of sticking out a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, I like how you bump it forward in it.
Yeah, that's it. You know the deal from here, so
yep.
All set?
Cool.
All right.
Okay. All the way forward, it's more like my dad's rocket. It's a bit more of a stretch, but at 5'8", that doesn't feel bad at all. Now, if you feather the clutch, that low RPM thing is not too bad. Oh, there's different mirrors on the base. Oh man, this feels so nice. You know what? It may just be different bikes are set up differently. Because this seat feels more broken in. The engine feels like it's more broken in. The suspension feels a bit different. It's not as mushy. Yeah, I'm going to turn these mirrors so I can actually see behind me. Now you're probably not, yeah, you can't hang off with the pegs all the way forward. Your legs are kind of stretched. You maybe have about a ½ inch, at least with me, that I could scoot my legs more. And my thighs are hugging the tank pretty nicely. Whereas on my Diavel, I can go kind of spall-legged, or kick my legs out, or tuck them in. But with the shape of this tank, the legs just tuck in really nicely, almost like my 1098. I feel like it's very, very narrow. It's very nice. That's what I like. And because there's only 4 of us on this ride, we're going to be able to go a bit faster. I'm just going to keep it in touring for that safety net I was talking about. There we go. So yeah, it looks like the S has upgraded mirrors, unless those were DP mirrors. And I do like those better. These are like the regular Diavel mirrors, kind of a teardrop shape. The other mirrors give a very, very good view of what's behind. Now, clutch adjustment. Clutch on this bike engages in the first little bit of a pull, so I think a little bleed would help that. Or just adjust the lever more inward. Now it's cool that the controls glow red. It's just kind of a nice added touch. It's one of those, when you buy this bike, you're getting a total package. You're not just buying it for a few little features. There are so many details on this bike that you wouldn't notice unless you really went over it, studied the manual, and got to know the bike. I suspect one of the things contributing to the low RPM chug is that first gear feels a bit tall. Let's see what I'm at in second at 40. Oh, it's not too bad. First gear could be a little bit shorter though. I suspect that this has a similar gearing as, or similar final drive as the regular Diavel, up around 150, 160 miles per hour. I like the matte tank. It's a very nice finish. The engine looks nice, the bars look nice. The bars are about the perfect reach. I'm just a little bit leaned forward. Legs feel great. if you've never ridden with forward controls, it will be a little weird to kick your feet forward. You will also notice over time, especially on long rides, when you're going for like an hour or more, your legs don't get crampy because you're already in kind of a stretched position. The auto-canceling turn signals are cool. The high beam switch is cool. Mode switching. Differences. Touring mode as set up stock feels fantastic. It is very smooth, maybe a little bit of wiggle when you're close to zero throttle, like at this speed right here. Otherwise, it's very smooth. A little bit of on-off, but not as bad as sport. But I'm not feeling any need to clutch, and I'm only going about 20 miles per hour in second gear. If I shift down to first, it's going to be shorter. I'm up around 3,500 at 20 miles per hour. And again, it feels like this bike is set up a tad stiffer than the S that I was on. But I'm still not feeling pain from those bumps like I do on my bike. Because my bike is set up very aggressively, and even the stock form, it's very aggressive for street riding. Perfect for the track, perfect for very smooth, clean roads. But if you get onto bumpy stuff, man, it just hammers your back. It's still a fantastic bike, don't get me wrong. It's one of those around town cruisers, canyon carvers, occasional track duty. And if you're a seasoned long distance rider, the regular Diavel will suit you just fine. It'll get the job done in a very, very hooligan manner. It's a beast of a bike. It definitely fits the Diavel demonic persona. They got the name right on. This bike, it's like the devil in disguise. It still has that same hardcore edge, but everything has been smoothed out and refined such that it's like Satan wearing a tuxedo. He seems like the nicest guy. But under that tux, man, holy crap. So, God, the keyless on my bike, I love it. The only time I have any issues with it is when I'm at a gas, like certain gas stations have radio interference. But that's why you've got a pin code override that you can do. And honestly, the pin code override works really well. It's kind of annoying if you have to do it because there's lots of radio interference around. But if you lose your fob mid-trip, you're never going to be in a situation where, oh crap, I lost my key, I can't ride. You can still take your bike out until you get a replacement or you find it. So that's been great because there was a point where I lost my key temporarily and had to use the pin code quite a bit commuting back and forth to work. I should have just gone right after they took off, but people were being nice today. It's nice. Yeah, his clutch needs an adjustment. Oh, it's so nice. I would definitely have to put a lot more miles on the bike to get comfy with the mid-turn lean, but honestly, it's easy. It's just me nervous about wadding up a $20,000 bike. That's preventing me from diving in deeper. But with only 1 degree less lean angle than the stock Diavel, yeah, you'll be scraping the pegs when you're really giving it. But oh God, that sound. Oh, so nice. I so wish that I could just hand my key to one of these guys and just take an S. Because while it doesn't have Öhlins, all my questions about these bikes have been answered to the positive. The suspension is fantastic out of the box. I'm sure I could tune it even better. God, the seat is phenomenal. It has addressed all of my complaints about my first-gen Diavel. My butt tucks in perfectly to it. It's got a notch out, so there's no more tailbone pain. I imagine Downshift 83 would be very happy with this seat because I think he's about probably a similar height and build as me. And he only really complains about his seat on longer rides. So he's got to put down a lot of miles in Florida. It's a long, flat state. And having a really flat seat that doesn't contour into your ghibli bits can be rough on the duff. It's an interesting air box hiss as you really get on it. Lots of really cool sounds that this bike's engine makes. It's a bit bumpy on this road, but again, yeah, I feel the bumps, but the suspension is just sopping them right up. It's not painful at all. I'm amazed. Like, I'm so used to my speed triple was harsh, my Diavel's harsh, the 1098's harsh, but you're leaning forward, so your entire lower part of your body kind of bounces with the bike, and it doesn't put a lot of strain on your spine. Because you're like this, and you're just kind of like teeter-tottering. So you're not getting a straight up and down jar going up your back. But this, man, it's just, I'm not feeling it in my back, and I've got back pain issues, man. The middle of my back from sitting in a desk chair all day, every day for work. Man, the very middle of my back, one of my vertebrae likes to slip, and when that happens, oh my God, the pain. So these test rides have made me very, very happy. They've alleviated the concerns about stiff suspension and the fact that I thought that the front forks were going to be kind of a very budget compromise, being that the rebound, or I can't remember which it is, like if it's the compression and rebound or if it's just the preload and then compression and rebound are on the other side. But the fact that they split that up, it's kind of an eyebrow raiser for me. Got some gravel, but touring mode is going to take care of that. I'm not even going to try urban. Urban's going to be so soft and smooth that I don't want to miss out on the fun that this power band offers. And God, man, just listen to that exhaust and engine. The engine alone, even with the exhaust corked up, the engine on this bike just it purrs so beautifully. It's just got this, like, it's like The Rock, the actor The Rock. He's got the muscular, beastly presence of a professional bodybuilder, wrestler, but he's a super nice guy. He's totally laid back. He's not flexing. If he does, it's casual and joking. That's kind of how this engine is. It's not out to do a dick measuring contest. It knows what it's got. It's understated. Oh, that was pretty bouncy, but still not really back pain. I wonder if that's a motovlogger. When you're putting around town, it just has this nice lumpy purr. It's not obnoxiously loud. It's not ticky. Like my speed triple sounds kind of like a Singer sewing machine with the valve ticking. It has its chirp that's kind of characteristic of Triumph sport bikes. And I don't really like it. I'm pretty sure it's the secondary air injection, and doing the eliminator kit on my speed triple got rid of it. But this bike doesn't have any of that kind of stuff with the desmodromic valves. It's got kind of a very clockwork sound and feel to it. The vibes through the seat, not really a lot of vibes. I think it's mostly the road that you're feeling through the seat. There's a little bit that you can feel in the crotch area, but even when you downshift to, say, first, no. The bars get a tiny bit buzzy, but man, it's just so nice and smooth and refined. The belt drive makes everything you don't get any of that chain clack when you do off and on throttle with a lot of sport bikes. So honestly, in summation, like this ride is very much, it lets you focus on the ride. It lets you focus on what's going on around you, because everything else that this Ducati offers is so effortless that you don't have to think. When it's brand new, you'll obviously need to get used to the controls and stuff, but I mean, after a few weeks of riding this thing, everything's gonna be second nature. And I mean, having ridden a bike with this power band with my Diavel Carbon, there are some things like the way it shifts. The chain drive is very clacky on the metal swing arm. It hits the wear block, and even when it's adjusted, it still does kind of a clunk. Oh. Rear brake feels good. It's not spongy. Does what it's supposed to. It's very progressive. The only weird thing is my finger keeps bumping the high beam, turning it on. But if you're on a bike and you don't want to get dead, it's probably a good idea to ride with your high beams on anyway. So yeah, even with the pegs adjusted all the way forward, it's still a very comfortable reach forward. They didn't have any problem kicking my legs up. It's like reminds me of that Triumph Thunderbird that I rode back in Greece for our honeymoon. It's very easy going, but it has the balls and presence and performance there when you want it. Oh my. Yeah, and I'm getting used to first gear too. It's like just you slip it a little bit, it takes off just fine, nice and smooth. Just don't bog the engine. I mean, obviously these bikes are still kind of going through break-in, and both of my Ducatis just got better and better with miles. So if you do a test ride, think about how good the test ride feels, and then imagine at 10, 20,000 miles how much better the bike is going to be, especially if you upgrade little bits and bobs here and there. It gets better and better as you go. I don't want to. I'll straighten it out. There we go. That's that. Kicking in neutral for the next person. Oh, side stand. Did you notice there's a thing on the dash when the side stand is down?
Yeah.
There's just so many like little touches. It's like God is definitely in the details. But yeah. Oh yeah.